You know that feeling, right? That little jolt of panic when your key won't turn or the door just swings open when it's supposed to click shut. It happens to literally all of us. But hey, before you reach for your phone to call a pricey locksmith, what if I told you that you could probably fix it yourself? Let's get our hands dirty and figure this out. So, is it a key that's suddenly being stubborn, or a door that just refuses to latch properly? These things are a total pain, I get it. But more often than not, they're just symptoms of some really simple problems that you can absolutely tackle on your own. And no, you don't need a whole van full of special tools. We're talking about a couple of basic things you probably already have, plus the know-how we're about to go through. Think of all the time, money, and stress you're about to save. So, ready to dive in? Let's do it. All right, first up, the classic, the infamous sticky lock. This is, without a doubt, the #1 reason people have trouble with their doors, especially the ones outside that have to deal with rain, dust, and all that fun stuff. So, what's actually going on in there? Well, over time, the guts of your lock just get gunked up with tiny bits of dirt and dust. When that buildup meets a lack of lubrication, you've got a mechanism that's going to fight you every single time you try to turn the key. The fix is actually a super simple 4-step process. But I want you to pay close attention to step 3, lubricate. Now this is crucial. You have to use a graphite or a silicone-based spray. Please, whatever you do, avoid oily stuff like WD-40. It seems like a good idea, but it'll just attract more grime and make the problem way worse down the line. But you know, the best fix is not having to fix it at all. Seriously, prevention is everything here. If you just make a habit of doing this, say twice a year, especially right before winter sets in, you can pretty much guarantee you won't have to deal with a sticky lock again. Okay, but what if your lock is sparkling clean and the key still won't turn? Well, the problem might not be the lock at all. It could be the alignment of the door itself. And this is a huge one, particularly if you live in an older house. If your door refuses to latch, it usually boils down to one of 3 things. 1, the house has settled a bit over time. 2, the hinge screws have worked themselves loose. Or 3, humidity has made the wood in your door or frame swell up and warp. Okay, look at this number, 12%. It might not look like a huge deal, but trust me, behind this number is a massive security risk that you might be totally overlooking. That's right. Police data shows that 12% of break-ins happen simply because a door wasn't latched all the way. That tiny alignment issue can literally leave your front door wide open for trouble. So yeah, this isn't just an annoyance, it's a critical security fix. Fixing this is all about making small, patient adjustments. First, just try tightening all the screws on the hinges. Sometimes that's all it takes. If that doesn't do the trick, you can try moving the strike plate on the door frame. It might take a little bit of trial and error, but man, getting that perfect click is so satisfying. So, let's say the lock is clean, the door is aligned, but something is still not right. Well, it's time to look at the third piece of this puzzle, the key itself. A bad key can stop you dead in your tracks, and is another top reason for those frantic calls to the locksmith. If your key is putting up a fight, it's usually for one of 2 reasons. The key itself is just old, it's worn down, or maybe a little bent from being in your pocket for years, or you're back to dealing with that same pesky dust and debris inside the lock that we talked about earlier. So first, let's play detective. Grab your spare key. If it works perfectly, then you know your old key is the problem. Easy fix. If the spare also struggles, then the issue is inside the lock. Give it a quick spray of dry graphite and then gently, and I mean gently, wiggle the key as you turn it. That can often coax those stubborn little pins inside to line up. All right, take a deep breath. This is the one everybody dreads, right? Your key snaps off inside the lock. It feels like a total catastrophe, but don't panic. You have some options before you have to make that call for help. The most important thing here is to be gentle. First, lubricate the keyhole to make everything slippery. Then, see if you can grab the end with some needle nose pliers. If not, you can get a broken key extractor tool at any hardware store. And hey, in a real pinch, even a very thin jigsaw blade might work to hook the broken piece and carefully pull it straight out. And honestly, all of this leads to the golden rule of locks and keys. Never, ever force a key. If it feels stuck or if you can see it's bent, just stop. Go get a new one made. It'll cost you a few bucks now, but it will save you a massive headache later. Okay, finally, let's talk about the problems that feel a bit more mechanical. You know, when the handle gets wobbly or the whole lock cylinder just spins in place. This stuff looks scary, but it usually just points to simple wear and tear. And first off, why is this so important? Well, a loose handle isn't just annoying. It's practically an invitation for intruders. A wobbly lock is a weak lock, and it makes it significantly easier for someone to force the door open. So what's the cause? A wobbly handle is almost always just a loose set screw somewhere. A cylinder that spins freely, though, that points to something broken inside, usually a little part called a cam or a tailpiece. That's the piece that connects the cylinder to the actual latch mechanism. Luckily, the fix is usually just a matter of grabbing a screwdriver. Here's a great little trick. If the screw hole in your wooden door is stripped out, just pack it with some wood filler. Let it dry, and bam, you've got a brand new solid hole for your screw. For a spinning cylinder, you just need to take the lock apart a little bit to tighten one specific screw inside. So we've gone through a whole bunch of fixes, but really, the best strategy is always going to be prevention. If you can get ahead of these things with a proactive approach, you can stop most of these problems from ever even starting. Here is your super simple 3-point checkup to keep everything running like a dream. First, lubricate your locks twice a year. Second, every few months, just take a screwdriver and tighten up the hardware on your busiest doors, like your front door or the door to the garage. And finally, take a good look at your keys every now and then. If you see any cracks or bends, get them replaced. And there you have it. The power to fix all these common, frustrating problems is literally in your hands. You are no longer at the mercy of a finicky lock. So the only real question is, which annoying door in your house are you going to fix first?